mantle of historian and dig into the data. And I wonder, and this goes to Professor Cornell's point, or at least comment on intersubjectivity, because we are talking about law as a legal institution, whether or not history has a role in talking about what constitutional meaning has when we're responding and precedent is responding to prior decisions. And I'll give just one quick example. The argument I was referring to was a case involving Heller and its applicability to the restriction on domestic violent misdemeanors holding handguns, which is a relatively new development. And in the Heller dicta is a historical piece that gets a lot of treatment. Now, what we're arguing about usually in those cases that follow is whether or not the judges are being good historians or not. So my question is this: is there a role for history? Is not as in the judicial sense, should it have any more legitimacy or not, but to inform the discourse of the weight of precedent and the way that we should accord precedent. And if we can say somebody is being a crappy historian, we chuck it out in favor of somebody who is doing history better, because we agree on it, and we agree on it because there is a certain consensus based on an empiricism that I think Professor Irving embraces, that one should defer to agreement on a range of meanings that are acceptable that we would follow, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, I think the question about the presumptively lawful part of Heller, where apparently if an earlier legislature made a balancing decision in the past and the regulation has some history to it, it's presumptively lawful. Of course, the interesting question is, when does history begin? When does history end? If it's 50 years old, does it have a historical foundation? Does it have to be 100 years old? Does it have to go all the way back to the founding era? What do you deal with the fact that during Reconstruction you had a different regulatory regime? I mean, quite apart whatever you think about the history in Heller, the guidelines for practicing lawyers, I mean, I haven't found many practicing lawyers who remarked that, God, Heller was just a model of clarity and what a beautifully crafted decision. And I mean, I feel for you because it's really not clear, like, how you would even do the history.